I done. All right, guys. I'm super excited to announce that this is our first official podcast. I got my buddy Dean on here, one of my really good friends. Very happy he's here. He's one of the most beautiful men I know in the entire world. He's a stud. Absolute amazing personality as well. Someday I hope to be half the man he is. So yeah, I'm just really happy we're here. I'm happy we're chopping it up. How's everything been going, brother? How's everything been going?
Well, first off, I appreciate the intro. I'm glad to be here. I feel like it's been a long time coming, you know.
Yeah,
I feel like we've had a lot of conversations that would have been podcast worthy, but now we're finally able to record it. So I'm glad to be here. But to answer your question, everything's been good, bro. Business has been good. Life's been good. Taking it day by day. Woke up another day, so that's a blessing, you know. How have you been? How's everything been in the life of Raf?
Well, man, you know me, man. I'm a very simple guy. I like to fill my day up with work, like you as well. Been hitting the gym lately, feeling good. And in my downtime, I like to talk shit in the comments to haters. So it's been a great time, man. I genuinely love talking shit on Instagram. I feel like I'm in a Call of Duty Black Ops 1 lobby on Xbox.
Straight up.
And I feel like a kid again. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I love it, bro. Life's been great, dog. Life's been great.
Life's been great. I could agree with that. I don't think I'm as much of a shit talker as you are, but I get entertainment from hearing about what you do. so that's good. But yeah, speaking on the fitness stuff, I'm glad we were able to get a workout in before we came here. I feel like working out with somebody that, you know, is might not have the same goals but has the same drive as you is always a good time.
Yeah, dude, you push me too, bro. Like you push me for real to work out really hard, dude. I'm really glad that you know, because you be going to the gym with like the same couple people and you guys get in a little routine and then you like work out with another buddy who like goes extra hard, dude. You fucking really get a different look at it. Like, okay, man, I could fucking step it up in this realm and shit.
Right. I agree. I think there's always room to go a little bit harder, you know, and I think you have to be cautious about what people you let in your life whenever it comes to doing certain things like that, whether it's work or the gym, because if you're around a bunch of slackers and you go to the gym, you might feel like that's the standard. But whenever you go to the gym with somebody that is actually trying to push themselves specifically, and not only the people around them, I think that is just beneficial for everybody across the board. So
Facts.
it is nice, you know, going to the gym.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Right.
It's good for the mental though, bro. It's good for the mental. You get a good start to your day. I'm really glad that I've been getting in the gym, and I'm glad that all my friends too have been kind of doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like how you do anything is how you do everything, for sure.
Right.
So
I agree with that. So I know how the gym's been impacting me in all aspects of my life. What do you think have been like the main things that you have seen it transcend into past just being in the gym? Yeah, like has it helped you with business? Has it helped you with the relationships, girls, whatever? Like I'm sure the main thing I've noticed is people have a little bit more respect for you because they know you can't cheat the gym.
One thing I'm gonna have to say the gym has helped me with, to be honest, is kind of having downtime in my mornings. You know what I'm saying? Where usually I'd kind of sit around and like edit on my phone or like try and like hang out with a girl or something before I go to work. Now I'm like in the gym. I got no time. I'm straight home cooking. I'm not eating out anymore, so I'm cooking. You know what I'm saying? It takes a good 2 or 3 hours every morning. It's a great way to start your schedule. But, you know, us barbers, tattooers, we have like the same type like afternoon schedule, you know? So it's great, dude. It's been great. I think it's amazing. I don't think I'll ever stop. Really about to do a cycle very soon, so I'm gonna get huge as fuck. No, I'm just kidding.
You think he's kidding, but he's not. Just wait. Give it about a month or two, and whenever you see him looking like the Hulk, you know
once you see my shoulders fucking blowing up, dude. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, I agree. I think that especially with what we do, I think having control of your schedule, you're able to do whatever you want to do. I think starting your morning off or starting your day off with the gym and a little bit of like an activity that is discipline that creates that discipline in your morning, and you're not able to just wake up and just kind of like you said, waste time laying in bed or waste time maybe hanging out with a girl that you were with the night before, and you actually have to get up and go to the gym. I think that starts your day off on the right foot, and it just kind of sets the tone for the day, which I think the gym does that good on a smaller scale with the day, and then a larger scale just like life in general.
No, facts, dude. Listen here, like if you're a man and you're not going to the gym and you're kind of slacking in that realm of your life physically, everything else is going to suffer. So make sure you lock in, hit the gym.
Grow some balls.
Yeah, don't know. Nobody's saying to fucking go out here and start bodybuilding and competing and fucking shit, but getting my whole like diet together and stuff was one of the biggest impacts on my day-to-day life, I think. You know, so I felt, I mean, I used to have really bad stomach problems. I'm not going to lie.
I could agree with that.
Always had stomach aches, always felt like shit. And the second I started eating super clean, you know, cleaning up the way I kind of like live my life, especially when it came to eating and being physical, I had less back pain, tattooing. You know, I just felt all around better. So just like as for the emotional benefits, it's something I'm going to stick to for sure because I love the way it makes me feel.
I agree. And I would say too is like if you are a guy, and I'm going to speak on guys just because that's, you know what I'm saying, a majority of what our life consists of is being around dudes with work and tattooing people and cutting hair. Like I have clients that come in and they like if they're having problems being successful with mental health, business, making money, or even finding like a partner like a girl, I think implementing the gym into your life will help, if not all of those things, a majority of them. Because whenever you are putting the time in to take yourself serious, everybody else will take you serious too. And I think that's one thing that I've noticed the most with the gym is people understand that you have that respect for yourself, and nobody's going to respect you if you don't respect yourself. So the gym sets the tone for your life across the board. And especially with, I think when I started going to the gym, I started making more money. And I think some people might not think those two things correlate directly, but I would say I think they do.
Yeah.
Taking yourself serious in the gym directly correlates to being more successful with whatever you do.
I think it's just that whole thing about taking action. You know, a lot of men like struggle with taking action. You know, if I have an idea, I'm trying to capitalize on it within that week. You know, 100%. I'm trying to get it going. So, and I know you're the same way.
100%.
So I feel like that's a huge thing that separates the winners versus the losers.
Right.
And I don't want to categorize people into winners versus losers. I think that's kind of
that's life.
Yeah, but
that's fucking life.
It's the way it is, bro. You either get to it or you're not.
Hit first.
Exactly.
You don't want to be the one that gets hit. You want to hit first.
Actually, absolutely.
But no, I agree. Like I think you said is like I'll like take action now and have the conversation of if it was the right thing later. You know, it's like because the longer you wait for something, the less you're going to want to do it. You know, and I think that the sooner you take action, the sooner you get results, and the sooner you're able to really map out what needs to be done and what you might not have had to do in the first place. So it gets you on a clearer path to where you need to get to.
Yeah.
And because that's one thing I used to have a problem with is I would like the gym helped me with. I used to like gatekeep the business ideas I had in my mind because I was like, well, if I share this with people, they're going to take the idea. But then I think you realize once you start doing that, a lot of people aren't good at doing. They're good at talking about certain things, but they're not good at actually doing those things.
Yeah.
So share your ideas with as many people as you want. You know what I'm saying? Tell people, go to the gym, do this, do that. A majority of them aren't going to do those things because it's a nice idea, but when they realize you have to put work in to get results, that's whenever they get afraid of it.
That's a different story.
100%.
Everybody want to shine, nobody want to grind.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out Kodak, for real. For real, bro.
Shout out Kodak, South Florida.
And I don't want to get all mushy-gushy, but you know what I'm saying? Me and Dean have definitely gone through breakups recently. I think being in the gym is
Facts. It's helped
great way to keep your mind off things.
100%.
I mean, rather than like filling your life with like comfort type of things, you know, drinking, smoking, going out. It's just healthy, dude. It's just healthy. But I kind of want to steer away from that type of topic. Gym's good. We're going to fucking touch on that more later, but me and Dean are still small, so until we have more results.
Right. if you weigh less than 200 pounds, fucking
talk to me
grow
nice,
up,
dude.
Right, grow up.
Nice. All right, another thing I want to touch on is you've been coming to Miami a lot. How are you liking the dynamic between Miami and LA? What are you noticing major differences?
I will say I think since I moved to LA 4.5 years ago, originally from Ohio, I moved to LA for work purposes. I had a job opportunity out there, and I would say I'm making the most of it. There's still room to grow, but I'm taking advantage of everything that LA has to offer. But now being in Miami and this area of Florida, I've realized that LA has a lot of everything, but Miami has the best of certain things. Yeah. You know, LA doesn't have the best of everything, but it has good quality of a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like the opportunities here, I would say, are very similar to LA in terms of work. But then if you look at the opportunities for like enjoying life and going out in the beaches and food spots, I think Miami is trumping that by Miami might have the best like nightlife in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like they have some of the only bars here that have like 24/7 liquor license.
Not to mention,
you can't beat that.
I like riding around in the Trackhawk with a fucking AR or AK.
Right,
you know
like
in
LA.
I can't do that in LA.
In LA, if you walk around with a gun, they're gonna look at you like you're some fucking sociopath.
I haven't left my house without a gun in 4 years.
Yeah. And
I have never walked out the house.
You never. I think in in Ohio, you know what I'm saying, guns are a very common thing. As soon as you turn 18, you go to the store and buy a gun right then and there, you know what I'm saying? In LA, California in general, I think if you want to get a gun, I think you have to wait
Crazy process.
10 days between the time you pay the money, between then and when you get the gun itself. And even with that, you don't see people walking around with guns.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people there are like, oh, if I see somebody with a gun, they're probably going to shoot the place up. It's like, no, like, fucking grow up. Realize that we live in a crazy world, so having a gun on you is not.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people are all, I mean, the majority of people aren't crazy. You know, like majority of normal people don't want to shoot somebody.
Right.
You know, I would never want to do that. I wouldn't want to live with that on my conscience.
I agree.
But at the same time, like, I feel like as a man, as like the man of my house, you know what I mean? And the one who takes care of my mom and takes care of my family.
Protecting everybody.
It's a duty of mine to like protect myself and protect others when I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So
I think definitely. Like what you said, the majority of the people in the world aren't crazy, but what the media is constantly feeding people, it makes everybody think that everywhere in the world is like that. Yeah. But it's really not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think having a gun is vital, like you said, just the protection of the family, you know? And I think growing up in Ohio, my dad instilling that in me. He's always had guns. I've never looked at guns as like a scary thing, you know? Like, so I think it just is an important thing to take care of your house and make sure everybody there is safe. And you work hard to buy things for yourself and raise family and develop businesses and your home life, that I think having a gun to protect all of that stuff that you've put endless hours into is just, that's normal.
It's key.
Know?
It's
100%.
100%. I mean, you could be in the shop here, in my shop, and just know you're in the safest place ever. There's probably fucking 7 guns in the room at one time, and each guy's carrying one. You know what I'm saying? But God bless America. That's all I gotta say.
Right. I hope the fucking Secret Services are listening to this, because don't come here. Don't come here.
Fuck the ATF for real, bro. Nah, but yeah, I think that's an important part of realizing where you're living. You know what I mean? I think that the right, you know, having the right to protect yourself, having the right to feel comfortable wherever you're going is super important. I think that I've never been to LA. I've never been to California. Yeah. Never done a lot of traveling at all in my life. That's
crazy. I'm coming here to spend time with you, but you never come to LA.
No, literally,
that's
bro.
absolutely wild.
But fucking, I got 4 dogs and shit, so it's a lot harder for me to travel.
You have kids. It's understandable.
And I got Diego, so I gotta watch him all the time.
No, but I will say that I think even so, growing up in Ohio, where I'm from, Northeast Ohio, Youngstown to be specific, figuring out how to make life work there, and then moving to a place like Los Angeles, California, and figuring out how to make life work there, 2 drastically different environments and business climates and just life in general. I think there's a lot of benefits to that, you know. So I would tell anybody, if you haven't traveled outside of your home city or state or even country at that, I think it's important to do so, because it just opens your eyes up to what life really is. Because if you stay in the same place your whole life, that's all you're going to know, and you're going to think the whole world is like that. But I know, like, you've been around states. You haven't been stuck in Florida your whole life.
What I noticed living in like a small town, you know, I lived in Massachusetts for like 3 years.
Fuck the Celtics.
Fuck the Celtics. Fuck Massachusetts. Ugliest woman in the country in Boston. But anyways.
Facts. Nastiest accents.
Yeah, Boston is just horrible. Boston. I lived in Massachusetts for 3 years. Pretty small town, you know. What I noticed is that in places like that, it like almost breeds like complacency. You know, like a lot of these kids they buy a nice truck. Right. They live in a small town.
Graduate high school, go to college, get a girl pregnant, get married.
Like Ben Franklin says, these guys live in these small towns. They die at 22, but they're buried when they're 80. You know what I'm saying? Like, the life kind of stops there. And what I noticed when I came back down to Miami, I had this like thing in me telling me like, go back down to Miami, go back down to Miami.
You had a thing in you?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So I came back down to South Florida, and I really realized how small of a fish I am. You know what I mean? It really makes you go hard. It really does. And even to this day, you know, I do well, you do well. We're both very blessed. You know what I mean? We do better than fucking guys that have gone to school for 8 years to become doctors. You 100%. Know what I'm saying? And it's never enough. But at the same time, it's like
never.
I love it.
Right.
I fucking love it.
I think that's it's like the curse of going down the path of entrepreneurship and seeing some kind of success. Yeah. Is like nothing will ever be good enough. Yeah. So that's one of my mentors. He had told me this one thing that I always try to keep in the back of my mind is like, never measure forward, always measure backwards, because when you measure backwards, there's a distance there. If you're always measuring forward, you could go forever, you know? And I think whenever you do have your own business, that's the plan. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to run it up until there's no more to get, but there will always be more. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be more money. There's always going to be more girls. There's always going to be more, whatever you could think of. There's always going to be more of it. You're never going to be able to max out any of it. But I think that comes to going outside of your home city, home state, and realizing that it's not just graduate school, find somebody to marry, settle down, and stop living your life for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I think it's vital to get out and just experience the world. And you could do that with a partner still.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I respect anyone who makes an honest living and is happy with where they're at. You know,
100%.
So if you're happier with a simple life, I commend you, I respect you, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But me, man, like, bro, I'm always go back to the Scarface quotes. The world and everything in it, Chico. You be happy with what you got. You know what I'm saying? You be happy with what you got, but I'm not going to stop anytime soon.
100%. But I think those two things correlate very, very closely. Is like, if you have been gone and you've traveled a little bit, you understand that there's people out there that are working way harder than you. So until you realize that, you're not going to go hard with business. You know what I'm saying? If you're just stuck in a small town, you're going to like compare yourself to all the people that are probably doing the same thing you're doing. Yeah. But then once you're able to get out and kind of meet people, same thing with you, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I met you, we met each other online, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as I met you, like, we're very similar in age. It's very similar with business. We both are in two different lanes, but I think it complements each other because we're both trying to be the best at what we do. And we're both young, and we just have very similar outlooks on life, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you find people like that, you realize, like, damn, what I'm doing really isn't that much. Yeah. So then it kind of pushes you to go a little bit harder, and you look at yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's like an inward reflection. You're like, look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, damn, I thought I was doing it right, but these motherfuckers over here, right? 100%, 100%, right? And I think that's vital to everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, life in general, it's important to not compare yourself to others, but realize that you're probably not doing it how you think you're doing it.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate too, like, yes, guys, we care about making money. We care about being successful business owners. We care about
fucking bitches.
Yeah. Fucking bitches getting money. That's all that matters. We care about this stuff, but at the end of the day, man, we do something we love. You know what I mean? You sit in a barbershop, you talk to your clients.
Yeah, I love my clients.
You are a therapist, you're a
100%.
Friend, you're a companion to them. You know what I mean? And
100%.
I sit in a tattoo shop and I tell my boys, I don't care if I make millions of fucking dollars, dude. I'll never trade that for what we have.
Anything.
You know? Sitting in the tattoo shop with my boys, chopping it up, laughing, having a good time. I live for that. Right. You know, I live for that. So it's not like I'm out here doing this work and I see it as, oh my God, I just want to be rich and conquer the fucking world. It's like, dude, it's like, we enjoy this, dude. We enjoy this shit thoroughly. A lot of people don't find their calling like that. So I'm very blessed. I'm very happy.
And we found it. I would say both of us, and like I would say a majority of the people that were around found it. We're all under the age of 30, you know what I'm saying? And we're all doing stuff that we really enjoy doing.
And it blossoms, you know? 100%. You find something you love and it turns into other things, you know? It turns into like a deeper understanding and passion for hard work and dedication to whatever else you fall in love with later on, you know?
Exactly.
I've always been the type of kid where, okay, I was really into fishing. And for those 3 months of my life, I was just, all I could think about was fishing. And then I was the other type of kid who, like, for the next 6 months of my life, all I could think about was fucking skateboarding. And the next 6 months of my life, all I could think about was
whatever you
basketball.
do, you're an extremist.
Exactly. But now I've looked at that as like almost like a passion. Like, it's like, okay, that's one of my biggest strengths rather than like weaknesses is that I have such a strong passion of whatever I'm into at the time that I can get a lot done and I can move on. And then I can stay consistent in the background with everything else I got going on.
It's like, it's like the healthy obsession.
Yeah.
You know, like you get obsessed by the things that you do, which some people be like, oh, you have to balance your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, spread yourself out a little bit. It's like, no, like whatever I do, I'm going to be the best at it.
Yeah. And it's stress management. You know, I think that's really what comes down to being like as successful as you can be is how much stress you can handle.
Right. Because the more you do, like the higher levels you reach, the more stress you're able to obtain and sit under. Yeah. The people that don't progress, they just can't, they fold under the stress, you know? So the more stress you can take on, the further you can go in life.
Dude, a lot of people can't fold, they'll fold under pressure. They can't handle having 10, 20, 30 grand worth of bills every month. You know what I mean? Like that pressure alone would kill them.
They can't even handle having that much money in their bank account. You know what I'm saying? It'll be gone quick. You know? So it's being able to understand the power of what that brings upon you, you know what I'm saying? And being able to manage all of it is making money does not teach you anything. You know what I'm saying? I think losing money teaches you more than making it. Yeah. And people think
I've taken some L's, boy.
100%.
I've taken some
100%. You have to lose the money to understand what what's really about. You know what I'm saying? Because you can always make more. Once you make it once, you can make it again.
And I've risked it worse. You know, I've had $10K in my bank account, and I fucking spent $7 on it on an investment, and I lost it all. And I fucking then I'll be sitting there with fucking 10 times that in my bank account, and I'll be thinking, oh, should I risk half of it?
Right.
And then I'm like, dude, I've done worse. And then I risk that, and then I keep going, and then it
100%.
fucking shit just triples, quadruples.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a blessing, but also in the fact that the risks define you, man. When you take risks, when you put it all on the line, when you bet on yourself, it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the confidence that comes out of that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And if you can learn to kind of channel that through your business, channel that through what you do, it turns you into such a confident individual.
Right.
You know, no one can knock your hustle. No one can knock what you've done online.
Right.
Especially when you're posting onto social media. A lot of people might get hurt by what people say or bothered by what people say. And of course, what some people says bothers me, man. I'll drop the address
Right,
real quick. We can throw the hands. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
but at the same time,
Look at Diego.
man, like,
Diego has a black eye because he's talking shit.
yeah, Diego has a black eye because he was talking shit. Look at him over there. But anyways, yeah, like I think that when you do take the risk, when you do put all the cards on you and you bet on yourself and it works out, you might have failed 10 times before that, but a lot of people haven't tried as many times as you failed.
Right.
You know, so they'll never understand the confidence that that brings you when you said, okay, man, I did all this. I had such a hard time. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact too that a lot of people have it easy, you know, especially when they're growing up. I know you've been through a lot of shit in your life. You know, I've been through a lot of shit in my life. I've seen a lot of struggle through my mom and a single mother raising 3 kids. And it shapes you into the type of person that like what I'm living now, man, is literally my dream.
Right.
You know, and I would never take that for granted. You know, what my grandfather worked in the mines in Peru, you know, and what he worked, how hard he worked so that my mom could come to this country and give us the opportunities that we have. So
right. And I think that that's also important too, is kind of realizing that, you know, people always want to play the victim and be like, oh, like I went through this, and this when I was growing up. But it's like, who are you to say what you grew up going through is any worse than what I grew up going through? I'm not saying you specifically, but just speaking in general terms of like growing up with a struggle. Everybody has their own struggle.
Absolutely.
So it's like the moment that you're able to switch from being a victim to what you went through to being able to kind of see that for what it is and use it to push you to be better and provide more for whatever comes after you. I think that's where the switch is. And I think that one thing my dad taught me, it's like as soon as I started barber school, because they were very skeptical about that, but they're always supportive. My parents were always supportive. But when I told him I want to start barber school, he was like, I'm going to do whatever I can do to help you be in a position to give your kids or whoever you're around 2 times as good of a life as I was able to give you.
Yeah.
And whenever my dad told me that, I was like, that's all I have to do in life. You know what I'm saying? Be able to provide for my circle 2 times as good as what I had it when I was growing up. And I think that is one of the most powerful things is like, yo, struggle, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff good stuff that comes from that.
And no one's saying like feel bad for yourself. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, dude, like I look at what I went through as struggle, but then I meet people like my boy Shane, you know what I'm saying? Shane, like what he went through in his life, I like amount that up to what I went through. And I'm like, nothing. I'm like, dude, I'm a bitch.
Right,
like,
literally,
you know,
like,
I had
grow
it
up.
easy. I had it
100%,
easy. You know, I had it so
100%.
easy compared to what other people have been through in their lives. And for them to still be excelling and having a good smile on their face and a good attitude, you know, it's a beautiful thing to really like sit back and look and be like, man, like, look at what they went through, and I can never complain about what I had in 100%. My life. You know,
it's like taking a step back.
Yeah, you really got to realize too. You got to get out of your circle sometimes, man, because you meet new people, and that's why I think social media is such a beautiful thing. I would have never met you. I'd never met him. You know, I would have never met any of these people if it wasn't for social media and who it put me around. You know,
I agree.
And I think that is one of the biggest strengths that we have. Never in history has someone been able to start a business and sell to someone across the country or across the world. Right. You know, we have fucking followers and people in Germany,
all over the world,
fucking England copying my tattoos and shit like that. And never am I going to be one of those tattooers that gets mad about someone copying my tattoos.
Inspiration is the biggest form of flattery.
Bro, it's awesome. It gets me excited. 100%. Someone's like, yo, I went to my tattoo artist and I showed them the tattoo you did and this is how he did it. And I was like, that's fucking awesome, bro, you know?
No, I definitely agree with that, especially with when it comes to social media. I think what stops a lot of people from taking that jump is people have never been vulnerable before. But being on social media and putting your whole entire business out there is pretty much putting your life out on the line to just get roasted by whoever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The critics. And a lot of the people that are being critical on social media aren't doing the same, you know what I'm saying? They're hiding behind screens, judging you, but it's like until you're able to actually put yourself out there and be on social media, you never really understand what comes with that, you know? And I think when people are talking like nonsense to you about what you're doing, but they aren't doing the same thing you're doing, they don't realize when they say stuff like that, it's like that I'm never going to take anything personal from somebody that's not in a position that I want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's not putting their business out there, like trying to promote themselves on social media, if they're not doing that, but they're judging what I'm doing, it's like what you say has nothing to do. Like it's weighing not at all.
I'll call people out though. I'll call people out for sure.
I think you're more of a. What's the word I'm looking for? You might be more of a. I don't think pussy's the right. No, I'm kidding. I think you're more of a bully than I am. I'm not a bully. I think you're a bully.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like throughout my whole like high school, middle school type of time,
he's a bad kid.
I was always like a class clown, talk my shit type of kid. You know what I mean? And I mean, Diego's sitting over there. He knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Diego has a black eye right now. We definitely know what he's talking
Leave him
about.
alone, dude. Leave him alone.
I'm trying to sympathize with him. I feel bad,
bro. I've never been the type of motherfucker that was like, okay, man, I'm not gonna talk my shit. I'm gonna kind of keep my mouth shut. I've always been like a very outgoing type of person, you know. And I don't know. It's always been my personality. I grew up seeing how people change too. You know, I grew up in high school. I remember my big brother, like some kid was trying to fucking fight him at the fucking park or some shit. We were playing basketball, and my brother like just completely walked away. You know, like no sort of like anger, no sort of like reaction, just like walks away. Like he's always been a very stoic person, you know? Yeah. And then I go to college and I see my brother in a frat and he's like a different person. He's like a fucking asshole at that point. You know what I'm saying? But love my brother. He's he's my best friend in the world. Yeah. You know, best friend in the world. But this world changes people. 100%. You know, it changes people, it shapes you. And I think a big thing with me being like how outgoing I was is that I didn't get a lot of attention at home. Yeah. You know, like I lacked attention from my mom. My mom was always working and stuff like that. And, you know, like not in a bad way. Like my mom did her best to raise 3 kids. She did an amazing job, you know. Right. But I didn't see my dad or nothing. So that like kind of like made me like kind of alters things. Out. Yeah, it makes you act out. It makes you act more of like an attention type of kid, you know what I mean? I wanted to be like in school. I wanted the teachers to notice me, and I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like,
because when you're younger and stuff like that's happening, you always want to be like, why is this happening to me? But the older you get, you realize like
I didn't understand why I acted
you kind of like
way.
Humanize your parents. Like, yo, they had to do what they had to do to make shit work.
Absolutely.
You know? And like your parents are figuring life out for the first time too.
Yeah.
So I do.
When I was a kid, I was like, damn, my mom's fucking mean. Right. And I'm like, damn, bro. Like now I realize I'm like, you were a fucking asshole of a kid. You know what I'm saying?
But at the time you had no idea.
Yeah,
at the time you had no idea.
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's important to surround yourself by people that you're okay if they're still developing as humans, because people are always changing, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be okay with the people you're around continuing to develop. And like you said, you're always like, I will say something now and we'll figure it out later. You know what I'm saying? I am very like quick with the things that I say, because one, I don't want to lose any ideas that I have, and two, I don't really have a filter, you know. But I think that's good. You know, people always like, oh, you don't really think about stuff that you say before you say it, and I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying? I think that's good. You know what I'm saying? You're not really sitting on ideas or sitting on your opinions or sitting on what you want other people to know about you or what you feel about others. You know, you're very out there with it. It's like one of those things, like, say if you were to get in a fight and we were to be out, I wouldn't walk up to the fight and be like, yo, why the fuck are you fighting this person? I would back you up. I would figure it out. And then after the fact, we can sort everything out. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about it. But it's important to keep the people around you like that, you know what I'm saying? And not really question why they're doing things, or like let them be them, you know what I'm saying? And have the love for them unapologetically. And then you could figure it out after the fact.
I think that swallowing your pride is huge too. You know what I mean? I'll always be able to look back on a situation or something that happened and be like, man, I'm sorry. You know, I fucked up. You know, like it's a value that a lot of people lose over time. You know, they lose the actual like pride to kind of like say they're wrong. Yeah, you know,
pride's a killer.
I've noticed that in relationships and friendships and a lot of things. You know, and it hurts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, people hurt other people without realizing it. And I think it's key for you to step back from a situation and be like, man, I fucked up. Right. You know, I fucked up, and I could do better in this way. And that's something I always try to like help myself realize. You know. Yeah, 100%. And I also think that when it comes to business as well, you know, when it comes to owning a business, running a business, and having people that work for you, it's good to step back and realize sometimes, man, like you were in this person's shoes before, and you didn't like how that made you feel. Right. You know, I had one mentor who's a really good friend of mine. He's a tattoo artist. He's owned a couple shops up north, and I told him one time, I said, you know, man, like I saw my old boss, like, you know, pulling up in new old cars and shit like that. And I was paying him a lot of money in rent at the time. And I felt some sort of way about it.
You're like, yo, I'm paying for this dude's stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I'm paying for this guy's shit. He don't even show up to work. You know what I'm saying? But then I stepped back and realized from my perspective, I was like, dude, this guy's been working for like 40 years.
Right. He's taking the risks to put you in the position to be able to do that
He's
stuff.
paying the rent. He believed in me.
So he deserves, the people that are taking the risk deserve more than the people
he believed in me when I didn't have shit.
100%.
You know, who am I to sit here and say like, oh, he's fucking spending the money that I'm paying him every month. You know what I'm saying? But then I stepped back and realized, I'm like, dude, this guy risked everything and he believed in me when I didn't have 100%. Shit. You know? So then I sat back and I was like, damn, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Right.
You know, like, why the fuck am I acting like that? What the fuck do I deserve? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I haven't earned my spot yet.
Yeah.
You know? And then he would tell me, my old mentor, he'd say, I'm talking about the guy from up north who owned the shops in Rhode Island. He told me, he said, when you own a shop someday, he said, be humble with what you have. Mm-hmm. You know, be humble with what you showing off to the people who work for you.
Right.
He said, because they're going to feel the same way.
Exactly.
You know, and you've experienced that now, and you understand how they feel, and you should always realize that they're putting it on the line for you too.
Right.
You know, and I think it's a beautiful thing. You know, it's a beautiful thing to realize that.
Like you said, it's like leading by example. You know, if there's somebody that looks up to you, and it has nothing to do with age, but if you're around people that are trying to do what you're doing, it's always keeping that in the back of your mind. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, like you said, you were in the shoes of looking up to somebody, and you know what perception you had of that person. Mm-hmm. So it's always keeping that in mind of like leading by example and being the person for your peers that you wish you had whenever you were in their shoes.
Yeah. And even then, now that I look back at the way I felt at that time. Mm-hmm. You know, I look at it in a different light now. Yeah. You know, I look at it in a light that I'm like, damn it, I'm happy for you. Yeah. And I should have been more happy for you at the time, you know?
But you have to go through that stuff to realize it. Like, experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
You know? I think,
exactly.
Like when you're growing up and you have like adults like trying to give you game, you're like, what the fuck does this old person know? You know, so what the fuck do they know about life? Yeah. But the older you get, the more you realize like they probably did know something that you didn't know, and they were trying to just help you out a little bit, you know? And I think that just comes with experience, you know? And business, I think, not even just business itself, but owning your own business and going down the path of entrepreneurship, it expedites the process of experience, because you do have to deal with a lot of stuff that a lot of people won't deal with until they're a little bit older.
Yeah.
So
my bad. I mean,
you're good.
I've realized certain things over time too. You know, I've realized how hard it may be for some people to get to a certain point in their life because they don't have anyone that believes in them. Yeah. You know, and I've been at a point in my life, I look back in my career when I was, you know, not making that much money or working in a tattoo shop. And I had people at the time who came to me and were like, you can do this, you know, and you can do it. And I didn't think it was physically possible. You know what I mean? Like, I remember my dad telling me, and, you know, me and my dad, I didn't grow up with my dad around. You know, my dad had another family. He lived, you know, like 1,000 miles away. But as I got older, you know, we got close. And I moved in with him when I was like 15, 16, because I got kicked out of school. My mom just kind of couldn't handle.
Bad kid.
Yeah, I was being a bad kid. So me and my dad got really close after that. And nowadays, I realize how important it is for someone to believe in you. You know, for you to have like those little encouraging words along the way means the world.
Right. So, and it could come from one sentence.
Yeah, it literally one
sentence.
One conversation will stick with you for the rest of your life. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I remember I was fucking making like a few $100 a week, you know, tattooing, and I was working in a tattoo shop. It was like after COVID, like business was slow. You know, I had no like social media following or anything. And I really started to kick it up with the TikToks and the videos and stuff. And I made $1,000 one day. Yeah. And I told my dad, I was like, dude, I made $1,000 today. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, I'm gonna fucking
on top of the world.
I'm trying to make 1,000 every day.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, you got this, you got this." And I started making 1,000 more consistently.
Yeah.
And then one day he told me, he's like, "You're gonna turn that into 2,000 a day." And I was like, "You're fucking
right. You're lying, right? What do you know?"
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I was like, "That's literally crazy." I had no clue that tattooing could take you to that type of price range or like, you know, any type of success, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm charging $3,000 a day.
Right.
You know, and it's fucking, it's a beautiful thing to have someone to look at you and like truly believe in you.
Right.
You know, so I make sure that when my guys are doing good, like I'm very hard on everyone who's around me, and that just shows that I care about you. You know, 100%. if I'm not hard on you,
I don't fuck with you.
I don't fuck with you. Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
And like you saying that, I can relate to that. Like I got chills when you were saying that, because I remember when I was in barber school, bro. I was doing haircuts for free when I was at the crib, and then people started paying me like $5 and $10. I was like talking to my mom. I was like, yo, people are paying me to do this right now. Yeah. And I'm making like $20 a day. You know, I'm making like $20 a day.
Like, I'm really up.
I'm like,
right
holy
now.
fuck,
I'm really
right? I'm like, damn, I'm doing this. But then, you know, the further I get into it, and then I get into the barbershop, and I'm making like, we'll just say $18 a haircut, you know, and I'm like, holy shit, like I can make like $100 in a day. That's fucking nuts, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then now it's like,
you're like, dude, I can make a livable wage,
right? And then you like transcend it past that, you know what I'm saying? You start making a little bit more money, and you start meeting people that are past the point where you're at, and you have those little conversations that are like, damn, you really can change the connotation of what people think your career is, you know?
And you can 10x that too.
100%. So then I was like, I was making like $20 a haircut, and now I was like, I'm charging like for like $200 a haircut, and there's people that I'm trying to be the light for, to make them realize like, yo, you can do whatever you want to do with this. Like if you're charging $50 a haircut, you could get it up to $150, $200 a haircut. Yeah. But sometimes you have to be the one that goes down that dark tunnel and comes back with some kind of knowledge to be able to share it with the people you're around, to let them know that it is possible to blow something up bigger than what a lot of people's perception of what that is.
Yeah. I mean, money breeds jealousy, money breeds problems, but at the same time, like, it's a blessing and a curse, you know? We've been favored with our options and the things that we can do. But at the same time, man, like, don't get lost in the sauce, bro. It's a very simple saying. It's an OG saying, but it's the truth, man.
Right.
I mean, simple things go a long way.
I agree. And I think, too, that's another reason why it's important to be cautious about what people you put around you, because everybody's going to have their season to make money. Everybody's going to be more in the limelight than others at certain times of the year, at certain times of their life, whether it's this week, next month, next year. Everybody's going to have their opportunity to be that one that is performing better in whatever they're doing than the rest of the people you're around. So being around people that are supportive of you regardless, it will always come back. You know what I'm saying? If you're the one that's in the limelight right now and everybody's supporting you, don't forget that whenever somebody else is in the limelight and you have to support them. Yeah. So if you're around the right people, you can make as much money as you want, and they will still be very, very selfless in their support, and it's important to give it back the same way, because it always comes back.
I want all my dogs to win, bro.
100%.
For real. I want 100%. All my dogs to win. I pray at night for my friends to do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. Like, I genuinely in my heart am happy by seeing my friends happy. I'm happy by looking at, like, the decisions that we made and, like, knowing that we're all proud of each other. And I don't think you get more lucky than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the type to believe in luck. You know, I got luck crossed out on my face, tatted. Like,
preparation and opportunity.
Yeah, I think
that's luck.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's what luck is.
It seems like the harder I work, the luckier I got. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think like you said, whenever I started making faith the main piece of what my life is, and praying for the people around me, I'm not the one that's showing them the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking upon the Lord to guide these people around me. You know what I'm saying? Show them what they need to do and what they need to be focused on to make it happen. And if I'm the vessel to be that for these people, use me as however you want. You know, like I'm asking the Lord to, like, put it in me, and I'll be the lighthouse for your light to shine on these other people, what they might need at these specific moments in life or the process that they're at.
I have, like, one Bible verse that sticks out of my mind, and it's not even something that I, like, kind of, like, remember word by word. I just know that I read something along the lines in the Bible of saying, when you work hard, or it was talking about, you know, like, almost like back in the old days, and, you know, they were all farmers. Mm-hmm. So it says something along the lines of, when you plant your seeds and you have God in your life, you will have a good harvest.
100%.
You know? And I think I think about it all the time.
Right.
You know, I think about it all the time. I think about who I bring around me. I think about what I'm doing for them. And I've been done dirty a million times in business.
100%.
You know, and I'll keep putting people on.
Yeah.
You know, I'll keep putting people on. I'll keep showing them the right way to do things.
Yeah.
And I'll keep being, like, not expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
You know, but I know in the long run, it's going to help me, you know, reap more, you know, from what I sowed. And I don't want to think about myself in those situations, but it what goes around comes around, man.
Right.
And karma is a real thing. And I think that's an amazing virtue to have, you know, helping people selflessly, knowing that one day this will all come back to you, and not even having that in your mind at the time. Because of course that's like an afterthought.
Yeah.
But keep helping people.
100%.
You know? Keep helping people.
And it's like not giving people the power over you to let their actions upset you, because I think whenever you make faith or the Lord the center of whatever you do, you're doing it with the right intentions to not help yourself but help others. So whatever their actions are after that, you know what you were doing was for the best, you know what I'm saying? So if they act out of line after what you do, you can't even be mad at it, you know what I'm saying? Because you know deep in your heart, your intentions were to help them out. So if they take advantage of that or take it for granted or disrespect you in any type of way, just know that it's not going to affect you in the long run because you're doing it out of a place of love. And I think that is the most important thing to operate through, is love for the people around you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because you can show that in many types of ways, you know? Yeah. I think trying to put people on in any aspect of life is one of the greatest things to do, because like you said, everything comes back, but it's doing without the expectation to return is one of the greatest things that I think as a human you can do.
Facts, bro. And I mean, at the end of the day, dude, like, you will achieve true happiness, and I can confidently say this now. I mean, we've all had tough times in our lives, but I can truly look at everyone I know and say, like, I'm happy, and I'm happy with what I've done, I'm happy with where I've been, I'm happy with what I'm doing, and if I fucking die tomorrow, like, this shit was a great ride. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we did it.
100%.
We did it, boys.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that, and I think where I'm at right now is I have a very complete life in terms of the people I have around me. Yeah. I can enjoy life and be extremely happy for myself and those around me. And I know that I could wake up today. I don't have to look for that one more person to make my life complete. You know what I'm saying? I know all the people around me are the people that are probably going to be around me for the rest of my life. Yeah. It wasn't easy getting to that point. You know, it wasn't easy going through like the trials and tribulations of like getting fucked over from people or getting taken advantage of by certain people and in those little setbacks. But now to the point where I'm at, and I think that's why I'm like trying to like water our relationship so much and come here and do business with you and keep our relationship growing, is because if you don't take the people around you serious and try to instill like happiness and show them the good things that can come from taking life serious, then you might not ever be happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to like have so much happiness, your cup overflowing in all aspects to where it's overflowing onto the people around you. You know, and I think life is good, you know, I'm happy with my career. There's always more to accomplish, but I think being able to take the step back and, like you said, realize like if this were to be my last day, I'm happy with where I've gotten to, and I think I've gave the people around me enough game or advice to where they can continue to make more of it.
They'll remember you, you know?
That's the plan.
They'll remember you. When they're long gone, they'll all remember you, you know? And they'll appreciate you. And also, whether you were the type of person who like brought bad things to their life too, they'll remember you and appreciate 100%. You. So like there's no good without the bad, you know? And I also think it's important to like realize, like, don't get too comfortable in your spot, bro. You know, like we got a good thing going. I love my friends, but I'll never be surprised if something goes the wrong way. Right. I'll never be surprised because I'll never get too comfortable, you know? I'll never get too comfortable, and I think that's more of like a trauma response too. You know what I'm saying? Like that also is like feeds into negative things that have happened in your life.
I agree.
But I think that it is important to be realistic, to realize that someone might be a good person in your life now, and they might not always be a good person in your life, but you can learn something from everyone. Right. You know, you can learn something from I learn something every day when I leave the shop. There's a fucking homeless guy that sits out here. He's got no legs. And every time I see him, man, that motherfucker makes me the happiest dude in the world. Because he sees me and he always says, motherfucker, you live in the American dream. He always tells me that. Right. I could get 50 hate comments in a matter of an hour, and I'll see them all, you know? Yeah. But when I leave the shop in my Corvette, and I pull up at that light, and I see that homeless guy, and I give him $5, and he fucking just looks at me and says, man, you're living the American dream, bro. You're making it happen. Like, God bless you. Right. That shit touches me super 100%. Deep, bro. Super deep. And I care about that guy. Right. You know, I really do. And I try to help him every chance I get. But I think that is a great thing to have in your life, dude.
Because I think your struggles could be somebody else's dream, you know? And I think, like you said, it's like never get comfortable, because some people pray to be in positions that you're in. And when you're in those positions, you might be praying to be in the position somebody else is in.
Yeah.
So it's like never take anything for granted, never get too comfortable, because anything could get taken away from you at any moment. So understanding that you're no different than the next person, you know, so it's to be grateful for what you're doing and what you have, but at the same time, still have your foot on the gas and know that if you stop doing what you're doing today, life will slow down, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So continuing to better yourself. And also too, because you have to understand that, like, that dude probably sees you leave here every day and he's like, I want to do what he's doing, even though he might not have the ability to, but I want to be in the position he's in. You know what I'm saying? So you never know who you're inspiring or whose lives you're impacting to the full extent that you might think you are, because there's people that you might be inspiring that you've never even seen in your life. You know, they might see you every day, but you never see them. Yeah. So it's like, continue to do what you do for those people. You know what I'm saying? That are kind of like relying on you to keep them going, and not just yourself, but others. You're
gonna inspire some people and you're gonna piss some people off. You know, that is there's two sides to that coin. You know what I'm saying? 100%. You're gonna inspire some people to an insane full extent, and you're gonna piss some people off to an insane extent. But the only thing they can do at the end of the day is look within. Right. You know, they can look within and see where they're at in their lives and what they're happy with. And I hope they find peace. Right. You know, for real.
Can't please everybody.
Yeah. I hope they find peace, though. You know, I hope that someday the trials and tribulations that everyone goes through leads them to some sort of happiness in their life. And I think that finding that burning like desire in you to achieve something or to be something is something that everyone should strive for. And that's what I hope that everyone around me finds. Yeah. You know?
So on topic but off topic, different path, fork in the road. Do you think the trials and tribulations that you've gone through and the stress that you've gone through getting to where you're at and like trauma responses, do you think that has led to you wanting to cover your body in tattoos? Do you think you should have went to therapy? You think if you went to therapy when you were younger, you would have tattoos, or you think you'd be a naked body?
Man, tattoos are the ultimate form of expressing yourself. You know, I can't look at it in any other way than that. Like, I will never regret anything I have on my body. Plus, to answer your question, I go to a fucking therapist. I've been seeing a therapist
for any girls out there watching this right now. He is a good guy. He's going to therapy, so take advantage of that if you can, because not a lot of guys do that.
I've been seeing a therapist since I was a kid.
Seeing a therapist or talking to a therapist?
My mom was like, "Oh, you need to see a therapist, right?" Yeah. And then now that I've gotten older, I really value that. I value the relationship I have with my therapist. You know what I mean? And
because I think when I was younger and like my parents went through a divorce, they're like, you have to go to therapy. And I'm thinking, I got to go to therapy because this person's going to change my life. But at the end of the day, a therapist just wants to be the ear for you to talk to. They just want to be a friend.
Like I said earlier, someone who believes in you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They're not trying to fix you. They're not a doctor to completely change your life around by doing this or doing that. Like, they just want to be an ear because, you know, not everybody has that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's it's amazing, dude. It's amazing what one person can do for you in your life.
I agree.
You know? And I, like I said too, back, like, I don't know, I don't want to get deep or nothing, but
get deep.
When I didn't have like balls my dad deep in my life, you know what I'm saying? It's wrong timing.
Wrong timing.
When I didn't have my dad in my life, like, it was tough because you have like two sides to a coin. Like I said earlier, it's you see your mom, you see your dad, you see where they're coming from, you see where they're coming from. And you are like torn.
Sometimes you have to pick sides.
Yeah, but not even, you're just torn, you know? And it's kind of like you have like, whether it's one moment with one person that you truly realize like, this is a beautiful connection that I'll always remember, you know? And I look at life like that in a lot of ways. You know, I'm glad that we're not fucking psychopaths and like we feel things.
I mean, I'm sure some people would say that we're psychopaths, but not everybody.
No, but we feel shit. We feel shit.
100%.
And it's important to feel that. You know, I've always been the type of guy where like I can't have a deep conversation. Right. It's very hard for me to have a deep conversation with someone. But when it does happen, when the situation does come along and I feel like a connection with somebody and we have a deep conversation, it's very important to me.
Take advantage of that and feel that stuff. Yeah. You know, like don't let it pass by.
As a man, you shouldn't like neglect that feeling.
Don't be a pussy.
Don't be a fucking
Feel
bitch.
Your feelings.
Feel those feelings.
Don't just cover your body in tattoos. Feel the feelings.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get covered in tattoos, get covered in tattoos, but you're never going to be able to run away from the truth.
Yeah, don't tattoo your face because that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, if you tattoo your face, you're a fucking loser.
That's you running away from the truth.
Yeah, if you tattoo your face, you're a bitch, for real, dude.
No, but that's real, though. You know, I think it's important to feel feelings and being able to take a step back and just understand why you feel certain things.
Yeah.
You know, and then get tattoos after that.
And as a man, I think that feelings are important. I think that you should respect how you feel when it comes to certain situations. But at the same time, we can always do better, you know? And as a man, like sometimes people get really caught up in that whole feelings thing. And it's a tough time to have to not feel like you're being heard or you're being accepted. But at the same time, I go back to what I said earlier, when you go to sleep at night and you're happy with who you are going to sleep at night, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So if you can look at yourself and say, I've had feelings before that I look at myself and I'm like, dude, you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter how you feel. Things could be worse. Things could be better. But this is where you're at, and this is what you need to accept, and this is what you need to move on from. And that is something that a lot of people can't accept in their lives.
Right. I agree with that. And I also think, too, to get to that place of just accepting where you're at, you have to go through a form of like you will never change something until you learn to hate it. You know, like I think the gym is a good example. And until you learn to hate the way you look when you look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? You'll never want to change it, you know? So I think that once you take that initiative to change, that's whenever you can actually start accepting, going to bed and understanding like I did everything I could today, so I'm happy with that. Like I gave today 100% of my efforts. I think that's an important place to be. And it's okay to be mad at yourself or irritated with the situation you're in, because until you really experience that, you're not going to change anything about your life.
Yeah.
So then whenever you start to take the initiative, that's whenever you can realize like, yo, I actually am doing something.
Yeah.
But you can always do more. But it's okay to accept that you only have 24 hours in a day. So if you took advantage of all of those hours, there's not much more you could have done. Just do what you could do today and then take advantage of the next day and so on and so forth.
I'm gonna switch up the topic real quick.
Let's hear it.
I want to ask you, Dean.
Yeah. I feel like I'm on Dr. Phil.
Do you think being a do you think being the prettiest motherfucker in the room has helped you perpetuate your social media presence? And do you think that if you're not a good looking motherfucker, you're not going to do well on social media? I want your opinion on that. I've never heard you speak on that topic.
That's a big bag to unpack. We'll start with, do I think looking good on social media affects your success rate on social media? I think it could expedite the process, but I don't think you don't have to look good to be.
I know 80-year-old artists that post every day consistently and do insane art, and they're old wrinkly fucks. Yeah. And they kill it.
But I will say though to go on that, I think it's like it's understand what you are and using that to your advantage. Like that dude, 80 years old, he's probably like, okay, I'm an 80-year-old fucking dude. I'm gonna take advantage of being that to my advantage. So everybody has their edge that they can use. You know what I'm saying? It just so happens that some people might genetically look different than others. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, don't ask me the question. Look at yourself, bro. Like the fuck you think? Bro's over here gassing me up.
This guy's got girls drooling over him, dude. Like fucking for real, dude. This guy's a fucking.
But no, I think. But it's like it's taking care of yourself. You know, I think that radiates like.
It does.
Yeah, I take care of myself. I go to the gym. I have invested in myself in certain aspects. Like, yes, I have tattoos all over my body, but I had to work to get to that point. You know
got his nose done, lips done, all that.
No. No. But I think that, looking good does help. You know what I'm saying? People want to. I mean, you look at these brands. Brands are hiring good-looking people to advertise through because they know people are going to look at those people and be like, I want to be like them. So I'm going to buy the clothes they wear. I'm going to buy the food that they eat, or I'm going to buy the makeup they use, or I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? So it does, there is some level of impact to looking good, you know?
It does perpetuate your presence. Being good looking does perpetuate your presence online. I look at YouTubers that make a lot more money than me and Dean do. And they're not models. They're not very good looking people. They're very regular looking people. But one thing about them is that they work hard and they're dedicated and they're consistent and they have value to bring to the table. I think a key part to being good in business, getting a good job, is looking at yourself from an outside presence and being like, what do I bring to the table? Yeah. You know, what can I provide other than just assuming that, oh, I have value in this aspect and they should give me this.
Bro's acting like he doesn't look good. He's trying to act like he doesn't look cute online whenever he's doing what he does.
Keep gassing me up, bro. I'm gonna fucking come over there and kiss you. But anyways, I'm fucking done talking about that. I think that a lot of people need to step back and look at the fact that they expect things to be given to them. You know, they expect a lot to be given to them. But the truth is, man, nothing will ever instill your worth like the work does.
Yeah,
you know, and I heard fucking Wes Watson say that all the time. He says the work instills the worth. You know,
Yeah.
And I don't think he's the best example to choose from. I think he's he kills it in whatever space he's in. You know, but I think that's a very true statement. The work instills the worth, and we all have aspects that we can improve on. But if you put in the work, man, this life turns very fair.
Right.
You know, I've always grew up hearing life's not fair, but
No, life is fair. It's
Yeah.
the most fair thing
yeah,
that is. You know?
Life's not fair to people for the circumstances they're given, but when it comes to putting in the work and reaching a certain level, it'll come back to you,
Right.
man.
I think life is. I think it's extremely fair because everybody deals with life the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's like you put the work in, you reap the benefits. If you don't put the work in, you struggle. You know, so everybody has that option.
Yeah.
Some people's starting points are different than others, but I think everybody has the ability to change the course of their lives and the people that come after
And you
them.
need to start learning to look internally.
Right.
You know, stop looking at situations and the amount of people that I've been around, you know, employees that have worked for me. I've noticed very similar things in them when it came to things that they were upset about in their life. They looked at a lot of things as like, man, I'm so unlucky. I'm not where I'm at because of the fact that, dude, stop calling Diego out. But a lot of people think that. I'm not even thinking about Diego, but from what I've heard from people is that they look at their life as something that they're unfortunate because of the circumstances they've been given.
Yeah.
But when you look internally, you realize that you have a lot of control of a lot of situations you have in your life. And
It's the victim mentality.
exactly. You know, you don't want to develop that victim mentality, and you don't want to be that little bitch, you know, to be real,
agree.
like to be completely straight up. If you look at life as, man, I'm so unlucky, I can't get a break, blah, blah, blah. You're a bitch, bro. You're a bitch because we all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
We all are blessed. We all live in a country that allows us to have the freedom that we need,
Right.
you know, and shit, bro, I have family members that came from fucking corruption, you know,
Right.
like in South America where a lot of our family members grew up. There's nothing
Same.
but corruption. You know, there's no fairness to what you had.
Yeah.
You know, my mom's friend owned a fucking cell phone business in Peru, and he got shot in the head because he wouldn't pay fucking like rent to fucking terrorists basically to own his business on a major street.
Yeah. So if you live in the U.S.,
Yeah.
don't complain about.
Yeah, they killed him.
stuff,
You know what
right?
I'm saying?
Like
and he's an honest, hardworking young man. Like
right.
he just didn't want to pay that fucking like
Right.
type of finesse on top, you know. But we are extremely blessed. We have every opportunity in the world, and I think that what goes around comes around. So if you look at life as being a victim, life's gonna treat you like a
100%.
victim,
And
know?
that's where it comes to the fairness of life. You know what I'm saying? Like life treats everybody the same.
Yeah.
Like you have the control of like your outlook on it. But one thing when you were talking about the looks thing, at any point in business, were you ever driven by anything other than making money? You know what I'm saying? Were you ever driven by the way people perceived you, what people thought about when they saw you, girls, material items, anything along those lines that wasn't the job itself?
Absolutely. Can we all like agree on the fact right now that like it's not about the money, you know? It's about feeling like a fucking G, you know?
What gives you the feeling though, feeling like a G? Like what is that? Like if you could pinpoint that thing, like what gives you the biggest feeling like through the process of getting to where you're at? What was that thing?
Nothing has made me feel better in life than my mom calling me and being like, yo, I need this. And I literally on the phone just be like, you don't have to worry about
Being
that.
able to give it to her.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Respect
just
that.
telling her that whatever stress she's facing at the time doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I'll step
Everything's
in and fill
gonna
that
be
role.
okay.
Yeah,
100%.
I'll fill that role. And I can confidently say that. I
Yeah.
can confidently look at myself and be like, you will provide and you'll take care of the people who care for you. And if they love you for it or hate you for it, it is what it is.
Right.
Because you did the right thing. You know what I mean? And that is the most G shit I've ever felt, you know? Telling my mom, look, mom, the rent doesn't matter.
Right.
You know?
Right. I agree.
The rent doesn't matter. Fucking worrying about that job doesn't matter because you raised me and I'm a product of you.
Right.
You know, and I'm gonna come back and take care of you because everything I have is yours.
100%.
You know, and that's it's amazing, you know. And I also look at the relationship I have with my family and I'm very thankful for it. You know, I'm very thankful for it and I'm very I'll never take it for granted.
Never.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think the older I've gotten, the more I've realized being able to repay the people that brought you up, like your family, being able to repay them and like let them know that, they're like, there's no worries. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you have good days and bad days, but at the end of the day, our stresses aren't the same as some other people's that are in less fortunate situations. You know what I'm saying? Because the work you put in is able to take care of a lot of those things. Because like once you get the problem of money out of the way, life can become easier. You still deal with stress. You still deal with heartbreak. You still deal with all those other problems that everybody else is dealing with. But the problem of like, how am I going to put food on the table? How am I going to put a roof over my head? How am I going to do this, do that? Like those things all dissipate. You know what I'm saying? And once those can dissipate, you can put more intention into figuring out the other stresses of life.
Yeah. And a lot of people talk about, how do I level up? Like I'm around a bunch of fucking motherfuckers that just sit and smoke weed at their parents' house,
Get the fuck out of that situation.
But even then, dude, I think that worry about yourself. The more I've leveled up in my life, the more my friends and them have like completely followed along with me.
Yeah.
My friends that I wasn't necessarily proud of what they were doing at the moment, when I started doing better for myself and showing them what I was doing and how I was doing it, they were motivated by it. They were motivated by it. They saw it firsthand and they were encouraged by it. And I think that's a huge thing, is that some people will be encouraged, some people will hate on it, but those people that you're encouraging, especially the people that are close to you, that you've celebrated important moments with and have developed a relationship with and memories with, those are the people that you should look to when it comes to encouraging and motivating and helping. I was a huge pothead my whole life. I smoked a lot of weed. I know you had smoked a lot of weed your whole life too. And the second I stopped smoking weed, I was so surprised because a lot of my friends were like, dude, I'm gonna fucking stop.
Right.
Right.
People always like, oh yeah, I'm an active stoner. Oh, like I'm not addicted to weed. I'm like, okay, then stop and improve your life. You know what I'm saying? And when you hit people with that, they're like, oh damn. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy.
And I'm not saying weed isn't good, man. I still smoke weed. I quit smoking weed cold turkey. I stopped for a few months, and now I smoke weed again, man.
Do you think in those few months that you stopped, you think you saw your life change in any aspect?
100%. 100%. I was running away from feelings. I was running away from emotions. I was running away from
dulls out everything because it just puts your mind in a state of like not
living in a constant haze, dude.
Yeah,
I neglected people around me because all I wanted to do was go home and smoke weed at the end of the day.
Right.
And now I still smoke weed here and there, like there'll be a little time here and there.
But when you stopped, you were able to realize what it was doing. So now you have a better outlook on
anything that is done too much has a control over you.
100%.
And I was smoking too much weed. I was fucking too much. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like too much of anything is bad.
100%.
And we all have these vices in our lives. And you have to learn to let these things go.
Right.
That builds discipline. That builds character. It's very important to a man and a woman, of course, to realize that these might be your vices, whether it's downtime, whether it's smoking weed, whether it's drinking, whether it's having a partner physically.
Yeah.
These are all vices that we need to learn to curve and kind of take control of, because that is what's going to help you feel comfortable in your spot. And like I said, the main thing with me is I never want to feel comfortable.
Right.
I love where I'm at, but I don't want to feel comfortable.
Right. And I think that like all of those vices, I think what really changes is when you realize it's better to be on top of life and not let life be on top of you. Because as soon as life gets on top of you and is like these vices are controlling everything that you do, you don't really have control over it. But once you have control over life and these vices, because it's okay to dabble in pleasure, you know what I'm saying? But
of course.
But the excess of it is whenever you start going down that dark path. So it's like when you dabble in pleasure, it's like enjoy it, but don't get lost in it.
Yeah.
Whether it's like you said, alcohol, weed, and I'm not condoning any of this, but alcohol, weed, girls, traveling, any of that stuff is good to enjoy, but don't overdo it.
Yeah. Don't run away. Don't run away from your problems.
100%. But I will say, like, I haven't smoked weed in, I want to say it was like a little over a year now. But whenever my friends that I kind of grew up with, I was like, these are going to be the people I'm around for the rest of my life. Whenever I decided to stop smoking weed and they were still smoking weed, and they're like, oh, you think you're too good to be doing this with us still? And I'm like, no, like, I just want more for myself. It's like, it's no disrespect to you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at what we're doing. It's like, why the fuck are you fucking 19, 20, 21 years old sitting in a car, hotboxing it, smoking weed? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, you never have those out-of-body experiences whenever you're able to just, like, look at an exact time in your life and wonder, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, there's more out there. So why am I going to continue to, the definition of insanity is waking up and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So I pinpointed smoking weed, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this out and then wake up and do life the same the next day, except extract the weed thing.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I was a little bit more focused on work. I was a little bit more focused on the gym. I was a little bit more focused on the relationships around me. I was a little bit more focused on the things that genuinely mattered. And then my life started to blossom and improve in all aspects.
Yeah.
So it's like, the people that say like smoking weed doesn't really affect life like that, I think they're drastically wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Smoking weed was my biggest source of comfort. You know, at the end of the day, if I was stressed or whatever it was, smoking weed was what I ran to kind of feel better about my situation, you know? And then once I eliminated that from my life and I looked at it in a different light, I realized that I was neglecting, you know, my woman at the time. You know, I was neglecting who was around me.
Mm-hmm.
I was selfish in that aspect, you know, and I think that I don't think everyone suffers from that problem.
Yeah.
You know, I think that some people are very healthy stoners. They do really well.
No, like there's always that, 100%.
And I commend them for that. So I'm not saying everyone's the same. You know, I think that there's individuals that do really well performing in whatever aspects that they like to perform in. But definitely something to sit back and consider.
Right.
Back on it, guys. Sorry, fucking
back on air.
Technical difficulties. We had to switch out the camera battery real quick. One thing I want to touch on with Dean is what do you think about mixing friends with business?
I think that if you are aware and understand the people you're around, mixing friendship and business is the best thing you could do. Who wants to go on vacations by themselves? You know what I'm saying? I want to go on vacations with the people that I'm around on a daily basis, and those people happen to be the people I want to do business with. Like, who wouldn't want to start a business with their best friend? If you're aware of what kind of individual they are, especially when you're going down the path of entrepreneurship, you're very selective with the people you surround yourself by. So when you know somebody well, why not start a business with them?
Like Joey Diaz said, all I need is 3 motherfuckers. I'll take over the whole world, bro. Straight up.
100%.
I'll take over the whole fucking world with 3 motherfuckers. 3 good people that I know we're all on the same page. And there's respect. And there's fucking hard work.
And communication.
Yeah, dude. We'll take over the fucking world, bro. For real.
And that's one of those things why I was like, whenever we had a few conversations that we had about figuring out how you and I could cross our businesses together and figure out how we could end up making money together. I was like, whenever we had come up with the idea of the company that we're about to start, it was a no-brainer because I value you as a human being and the relationship that we've been able to build and the people that you've been able to introduce me to and put me around. I was like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
The communication has always been good. The respect has always been good. I've never had to question your loyalty. And I felt that from the first time that we met. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You've never gone behind my back and done this or done that. You've always kept it 100 with me, and that's all I can ask from somebody. You know,
and it's always good finding people that pick up where you slack.
100%.
You know?
Because you're not going fire yourself from positions you're not good at and hire somebody that is better at you than you are at certain things.
Yeah, I'm always gonna sit here and hold you accountable, and I know
100%.
you'll sit here and hold me accountable.
Same exact thing.
You know, and if one of us starts fucking up, I know that the other one will look at each other and be like, "Tell them straight up." You know, they'll tell you the fucking truth. I'll shoot you straight 100% of the time.
100%.
You know, and I think that is the most important thing when it comes to starting a business with someone is realizing that this guy's gonna shoot me straight. He's gonna keep me accountable, and there's love there, bro. You know,
that is love. I think that's one of the purest forms of love.
That is love. That is teaching someone that, you know, you're not going to accept them coming short because you know that if you were in their position, you would do the same for them.
100%.
You know,
100%. And I think that's why going down the path of business with you has been, you know, it's you never know what's on the other side, but you know that the person you're going down that path with is not going to give up on whatever's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like whether it takes a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, you know, you guys are going to find success at some point because neither of you are going to give up on whatever you guys got going on.
Exactly.
So that's why whenever we had the conversation about starting business with each other, I was like, didn't even have to think twice about it.
And also just finding common ground. I mean,
100%.
I get asked all the time about my fucking hair. Dean is the fucking barber of the fucking century. We're out here working hard to push our product together that we've been spending a lot of time in creating, you know, because we're creators at the end of the day. You know, we're
100%.
perfectionists.
100%.
We both come into something looking at, we're going to get out the best product and we're going to give the best to our followers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people talk about in my comments, they're like, dude, you care so much about followers, like blah, blah, blah. But it's not about that. It's not about caring about followers. It's not about caring about the number. It's about caring about the people who support you.
Right, 100%.
You know? And if they support me, why the fuck wouldn't I give them the same thing in return?
Give them something. Because without the people that support you, you're nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think being able to deliver, it helps having somebody that has a head of hair like you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's like people always ask me like, when are you gonna come out with a hair product? When are you gonna go down that lane of business? And I always used to think like, dude, honestly, I don't really care about starting my own hair product. Like there's so many things out there that I don't even want to dabble in that realm. But you know what I'm saying? I met you and we were just talking about certain things, and it's like, well, why don't we start experimenting with the hair products?
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a while, I feel like now, and we've gotten to the point where now we have a few samples. And I would never, the reason why I kind of like have stopped working with certain brands is because I don't want to sell the people that support me on something that I don't believe in myself.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's important to very carefully curate something like we've been doing that we believe in and we use in our own hair in our daily lives. You know what I'm saying? So
when it comes to products, when it comes to information,
100%.
Also, you know,
Right.
I've definitely, you know, we've both had a lot of people kind of look up to us. We talk about our mentors.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the people that we looked up to.
Yeah.
I try to be a good mentor to the people that
100%.
look up to me. You know, so I know that when I sit back and realize what I've done and where I've been, I know that there's a lot that people can learn from that.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know, and I want to spread that wealth. I want to spread
100%.
that wealth, and I want to spread that happiness to people too. Because at the end of the day, it's a form of peace that you come along when you really create something that helps others and helps you. It's a beautiful thing.
Right. I agree with that, and I don't think you could have said anything better than to end it with that. You know what I'm saying? Take care of your happiness and the people that are around you, and everything else will figure it out.
Yeah. So what the message I'd like to end this with is fuck bitches, get money. Let's get it going.
Obviously, you could tell the monogamy thing is out the window.
No, I'm just kidding, guys.
He's
kidding.
a hoe.
I think that
I mean, if I looked like him, I'd be a hoe too. So
yeah. I think that Dean's getting at a strong point right here, but I think that God is good and
God is great.
God is great, dude, and we're really lucky, dude, and I'm really happy that we have you guys to fucking hold us down for real.
I agree.
And I'm glad we have each other. You know what I'm saying? And social media is a beautiful thing. Take advantage of it while you can.
Right.
For real. My boy.
Love it.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
It's good shit.
Wrap it up.